Welcome to Wiki Bearings, where we dive into the worlds of engineering excellence, from the automotive marvels to the industrial giants. Join us to explore the wonders that keeps the world in motion. My name is Hassanein Alwan, and I'm your host. Welcome to another episode of Wiki Bearing. In this episode, we're gonna dive into the internal combustion engine, what we usually call the ICE engine. What is happening today and what is the future of this engine? With me, I have an expert in the automotive industry for more than 25 years in the industry, especially in the ICE engine, in the spark plug industry. With me, I have Tufan Baysal. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Hassanein. A pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming. We have known each other for some time, and your company is well known to be the heart of any engine. And for that, and for our audience, so let us know you a little bit more and know what your company do.
Sure. Well, you already gave a little bit hint about my age, but actually I'm in the industry for 25 years, but in the working life more than 40 years. And in various places in the world. So I feel myself very lucky in how I was working and where I have been. But the aftermarket part, the last 25 years has been the most pleasurable one because a lot of people love automotives,
Sure.
But then being into it, and I was into, even before my life in aftermarket, into tuning, into cars, into small remote control engines with spark plugs, definitely
Nice.
NGK inside. So I've been very close to the industry even before aftermarket. And once I started my life, it was with a different company, a big opportunity. First, I started with the diesel and then converted into many different areas of the industry. So I'm quite, let's say, knowledgeable in the aftermarket side.
Sure.
And because our company is one of the strongest brands in OE, when it comes to ignition parts, we would be number one brand of choice of OE in many countries, in many brands. So proudly, I would say I was the most exciting company for me to work, which is in my last 11 years, has been Niterra now, as we know the new name. But of course, when I started, the company was NGK Spark Plugs.
Yeah, true. So a lot of us in the automotive industry, car enthusiasts, knows NGK and NGK Spark Plugs. But then in recent years, we are hearing the name Niterra. Tell us, how did this happen and what does it mean to you and to the customers?
Okay. Well, the name actually is, that was a necessity because obviously the IEC going forward is going to decline. And we already have for long years working on, diversifying our business portfolio for the upcoming years. And there was also a need of change in the name of the company because basically spark plug cannot be the future of the company. And now here, when we speak about diversification, I'm talking about, we expect our business portfolio to reach to 60 ICE and then reach to 40, which today it's 80 ICE, okay, until 2040. So if you go 2030 and 2040, this is a quick change. And why Niterra? Of course, it comes from the word, shine, and terra from, earth. So we are looking into sustainability, and we want to be one of the leaders of the change. And obviously, we want to also create the shine on the world, which, is the wording together comes to that. And that's why the colors are different as well.
Yeah.
And most interestingly, the colors are extremely well and so fast absorbed by both the team, the global team, myself, and I was surprised myself how quick we embraced this new change. And also our customers. It's amazing that this Niterra name gave a huge excitement to the whole, let's say, ecosystem.
Like if we look at NGK being the leader, and I think there is no car brand that does not have an NGK Spark Plugs, and that now you are moving to Niterra because I think the portfolio have expanded beyond Spark Plugs and many other products which we maybe will touch upon. And so for us and for our audience, it's interesting how this Niterra, what does Niterra means in terms of products, in terms of, let's say, the adaptation for the future.
Right. Well, there is a lot of effort going on this. So we are not only focusing, what I need to say is we are working in, of course, automotive new product lines. But these are in development, so I'm not able to really say everything, but we are technical ceramics expert. So we are looking into how we can really utilize our know-how, why we are number one world spark plug brand and choice of OE. It is our production technology, our drive to give the best quality, OE aftermarket, always the same quality, same production lines, same, that's what we thrive. And this technological advancement, this engineering advancement surely will bring us more opportunities also for EV. But it will be, again, related around the ceramic area. It will be with new joint, it could be acquisitions, or we would be taking some partnerships with some other operations. So this is yet to be seen. But the company ambition, as I said, is very high to make this conversion.
So if we look at the market today, of course, is dominated by the ICE engine, the engine, but I think there is a lots of push into the electrification, EVs, and so on. And what do we see long term? Is ICE engine, will the ICE engine die? Will it be part of the future, or it is only part of the past?
Well, if you look at the production, and it will be, again, different if you go to Asia and Europe and in America, we will see a different maturity and change. But EV is coming for sure. But how quick, this is difficult to estimate because, for example, if you look at the full electrical sales in Europe in 2024, actually they declined from the previous year.
Yeah, from 2023 and 2022.
So that and hybrids were increasing as a transitions, and this is some indicative that yes, it's going to happen, but is it going to be really as quick as previously expected? So there will be changes. I just want to correct something. Actually, our ambition by 2040 is to reduce our IEC related sales to 20%.
Wow, from 80 to 20.
That is a big ambition.
Very big ambition.
Obviously, that 20 is mostly going to be for aftermarket then, right?
Yes.
You could imagine,
Yes.
and the new products that we will develop for,
That's
of course, in the, maybe the existing businesses, because the IC technology is also changing.
Yeah, true.
Right? So the way the IC, the engine with the spark plug was used in the past is changing. Also, it becomes more like a generator now.
Yeah.
So it needs to have different efficiencies. And basically, this is something we also need to keep improving because that technology keeps changing. But if we focus on where we're sitting now, Middle East, Africa, Asia, let's focus. This is where our bread is coming, for aftermarket. We see the electrification for Africa only coming like after 240. It's the income, it's the infrastructure. It's quite low. In Middle East, it's going to be faster if you look at Saudi and UAE, because if the governments are really focused into that, they can bring the infrastructure. But yet still, we see a lot of people going to shopping malls to charge their cars. Right, so there are wishes, but how quick it will become, and then the governments are also adopting the way they are, seeing the necessity globally. So yet to be seen again.
Yeah.
I mean, we say something here, next year it changes immediately. because another driver for this is the governments.
Sure. If we look, just as an example, Jordan have adopted EV in much quicker pace just because of the regulation. It's shifted the market in much faster compared. And that adaptation was incentivized by the government. And I think in this kind of adaptation, or how to speed or this adaptation is it's driven by sometimes government policies, cost and incentives and so on. And I think we did a study a few years ago just to look at Middle East and Africa. Again, we are mainly focused on the Middle East and Africa as a company. And I think you are in charge of Middle East, Africa, Eurasia, and so on. So you part of your expertise in this region. And I think the adaptation, of course, it doesn't follow the same speed as maybe some other countries. And I think one could be infrastructure, availability of electricity, government incentive, cost of petrol versus, so the incentive, what incentivizes the driver to shift. If I'm not saving money, if I'm not making more money. And I think, yes, everyone want to be sustainable, but I think the push, sometimes it's monetary push. If I, as a taxi driver or a fleet, I save X amount of money by shifting, yes, maybe I have the reason to shift. So I think in different countries, depending on the cost, government policies and so on. So I don't think it's one size fits all. But when we look at, we moved from the ICE engine to I'll call it the buzzworld of EV, but I think also now lots of talk about hybrid, hydrogen, and some other what do you think is long-term is a viable solution?
I think it will be different when it comes to passenger cars, smaller transportation vehicles. And it will be different also for the heavy duty or big marine, those things. Currently, the technology doesn't seem viable for the big machines. The size of the batteries, safety, those are working in really harsh conditions as well, right?
True.
I would say currently there are some good hydrogen solutions in big some bus brands, some trucking. We are seeing already the hydrogen is pulling in. So that would be kind of, at least until the electrification or the technology finds a new way, and it evolves very quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised in 5 years there is something new which we didn't know is coming. But currently, at least from the technology we know, it doesn't seem to be EV. When it comes to cars, obviously electrification has a different speed. If you look at Norway, it has globally, I think almost 90% is now EV.
Despite they are fossil fuel exporter, they export petrol. So
yes,
and they have the energy, but still, I think they have the highest adaptation per capita.
They are number one in the world.
Yes.
So if you look at Scandinavia, it's a different dynamics. But it's also driven with the culture. I mean, it's not only the government. If the people don't embrace, you cannot push anyone. It seems that there was no reaction. The people were embracing, and they want to have they have different priorities. So that's how. But is all Europe like this? Definitely not. There are, again, infrastructure becomes the biggest problem. And also, we have seen significant tariff changes and worry of European car manufacturers from the Chinese manufacturers, obviously. So they had to rethink, okay, how do we really look at this to protect the local industry? And same thing now is happening in U.S. So another reason that we will see the changes in how these technologies are evolving. It's going to be depending also on the government, ambitions.
True. Few years ago, some manufacturers, especially car makers, said, by 2030, we will stop all production of ICE engine. And if it's first a very ambitious plan, and But I'm not sure. Is it something realistic, or is it just a push? Or what? How do you see 2030 as the end of their production of ICE engines?
I follow more European markets. In our regions, it is also more depending on it. It started with a fashion, you know,
a buzz.
and also the public transportation conversion. But it was to me more about the branding of Dubai, for example, right?
Yeah.
Now we see more and more electric cars on the streets.
Yeah.
And I test them. I don't have an electric car. Honestly, I have the only electric car I have driven until today is a golf car.
Okay.
So, am I curious? I am, but so far it didn't happen. I was not so maybe keen on that. But we see different reasons these changes are happening. Okay, so but I'm sitting in the taxis, and when I ask, the guys are still missing the feeling of the ICE. So it's interesting. It's a lot of technology, lots of screens, which is nice in the first few days maybe. And some people can't give it up. Some people are still looking into this previous technology.
I'll give you a personal experience. So 2 years ago, me and a friend of mine, we decided to buy EV. So we bought the same car, exactly. So we bought actually a Mercedes, an electrical. It was very new in the UAE. So we bought exactly the same car. And I was driving an EV for 2 years. And I would say there is a lot to enjoy as well. You have the technology of the screen. You have all around it. It's actually not only because it is having a battery, but I think they made sure that it is convenient. You have all this technology around it and so on. And I went back to drive a V8 engine. And my friend, he say, I cannot anymore drive a normal car. And he stayed. I moved back, and he stayed, and he bought the same car, just a newer model. And I think this is you see, people are a little bit. I will tell you, I miss the sound of the engine. I'm maybe an automotive enthusiast, maybe a car enthusiast, and you have a good acceleration from an EV. So it's not only about acceleration, but you don't have that same feel of a normal engine. Right. And then this is what I say, it's different for different people. And a friend, my friend, we had a discussion over the weekend. I said, Hassanein, I cannot go back and drive a car. I don't know where is the petrol station anymore. Right. And he said, I have a charger at home and I have a charger at my work. So why do I need to bother? And I do not need to service the car until, 20, right. 30, 40, Okay. So even that aspect is not anymore. And this is, you see, the human, like we are friends and we support the same car. So it's not about the car, but we are so different and different people enjoy different things. And this is where the embracing of cars happen.
Yeah. Well, on that one, let me add that, for example, I really love also motor racing.
Yeah.
And then I'm a Formula One fan. I don't miss a race. I go to some of the races. We are proud to be also sponsoring Ferrari, which is one of the best, very good brand, but it's not where it needs to be. So, but still, Ferrari is a Ferrari, of course. But all the brands for us are very important. And at the end, if you look at it, can you imagine a Formula One without the noise and all these people? And I really miss the old days where they had all these beautiful V10s, with this amazing noise, the sound that we miss a lot. Okay, but you touched a very important point. People love their convenience. So Formula One is still a smaller part of the world. A lot of people don't even know what's there. And convenience will take over. It's not only that, because going forward, as you see the young guys, some of them don't really care about owning a car. So car sharing will become important. The driving, so for some people, mobility will be just going from one place to another.
Yeah.
So that convenience will also change things. Maybe in the future, in the very near future, it's already happening in many places, that you will not own a car, but you will share cars, you will share the rides, and that will need technology. Right, and in those areas, it will make a lot of sense that we would be seeing less ICE, and it will be more converting EV into more technology. So the people demand will be driving again the needs as well as the government, let's say regulations.
Sure. Yeah, I think the younger generation look at owning car is a little bit different than our generation. We think about car as a part of the prestige, maybe part of a milestone in our life. And I think mobility, shared mobility, micro mobility is it's already happening, and it's driving technology in a different way. But if we look at car makers in general, you see a lots of push on electrification from Chinese car maker, some European car maker, where you still see the Japanese still investing in ICE engine in different ways. How do you look at this push and where this is going?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question, and the answer is very simple. Where do you see most of the Japanese cars? I mean, yes, they exist in Europe and maybe Americas, but if you look at Asia, you will say, if you look at Africa, you will see a lot of Japanese cars. And those markets will be IC longer than rest of the world. Yeah. So that's why the technology, and it's why, because it's the infrastructure in the income. So you see there's a lot of motorcycles on the streets in many markets which will convert into cars. But they cannot switch into expensive cars, right? So the conversion will be, upgrading, but the upgrade cannot be to the most demanding technology. Also, maybe we will touch on that, but is it really eco-friendly? Is this technology? This is questioned a lot even for those markets. So that's why Japanese automakers are focusing into, this is how my market reality is, and they're going to need my cars. I need to find an economical way of producing these cars, matching the income, and also being able for many years, which is good for our aftermarket in those markets. And I'm lucky to be in one of those regions because we manage, lots of Asian markets and also African markets, and that's where we see a lot of business growth coming. In our vision, when we look, yes, Europe, IC is going to be reduced. But we are seeing easily closing that gap from our markets for the operation we manage from Middle East. And Africa, we are easily closing that gap from the aftermarket side, from the other markets. So for the next 10, 20 years, 25 years, we are not worried at all.
For sure, like some markets will adapt later than other market. I know there is a lot of buzzword talking about the EV and adaptation of EV and a lot of media claim talking about EV in general. But in reality, the data looks different. We don't see the same amount of compared to what the media claim. So what do you think the data tells you?
I mean, I told you, for example, if you're asking today, because there was a lot of expectation 5 years ago, if we were doing this, I would be saying, wow, Europe will be mostly, EV.
Yeah.
And we were seeing all these Chinese cars evolving very quickly. But the moment the incentives were taken off, and now we have the U.S. effect, the Trump effect, the tariffs, it's going to even change things more. But I was surprised. I mean, as I said, the electrical vehicles going down. I would see for a while we would see more hybrids dominating. Another interesting to look at, though, because it changes the dynamics of availability of car in the market, is, for example, some Chinese manufacturers. I mean, I don't mind naming it, like BYD has a totally different approach to production if you compare with Tesla.
Sure.
And Tesla is going with, gigafactories and practically it's a different way of supplying and production approach. But you could see easily BYD, like recently they started the production in Uzbekistan. Just make a quick agreement.
Yes.
It's mostly, maybe a hybrid. We will see how it's going to evolve. But that's how they quickly could adopt it, and they are very easily opening production sites. So these things, and then of course the governments will embrace. Maybe for the tariffs there is a blockage, but then if a company comes and say, I'm going to invest and I'm going to create some labor, I'm going to create some support to your economy, that could be a different approach as well. So we really have to see. It's not about now how the technology of the car, but how you are able to really produce it, how quick, how efficiently you're able to produce it, where you can have. And for Africa, this could be also a change. Today I'm saying maybe slow, but if these things can happen, Africa even could change very quickly. But those companies, they still need to think, yeah, but how am I going to really manage the electric supplies?
It's true. I think if we look at, and this drives me to my next question. If we look at when it comes to EV or selling EV, but if you have enough EV cars, then we go into the dilemma of infrastructure. Is the infrastructure supporting that adaptation or not? How much is it supporting? And so in some market, we don't see the speed of the infrastructure following the sales, and this is why you have this bounce up and then bounce down on. We can see lots of charging fights over a charger, and I think if we look at, do you see that the speed of infrastructure is in the same speed of adaptation of the EV itself?
I am not able to comment because I'm not part of the government.
Yeah.
I could just say my wish is as slow as possible, okay, for what I'm managing, because we are really, benefiting from the REC world,
yes,
right? And the strong brand, strong team. I have an amazing team who's managing a very significant business in this area. But it will come. It will come, right? The governments need to support that, especially where the long-term strategies are already. They have the electrification in their roadmap. Maybe they can deviate from the timing, not 10 years, but 15. It could be slower, but it has to come. It will come. And there are many countries who could also benefit from solar energy, right? So maybe there needs to be a combination of that energy and then driven into how to supply. Because one of the problems of, again, electric cars and battery technology, the battery technology itself is not eco-friendly. I mean, from the chemicals and how the cars are produced, requiring a lot of energy. And another question always remains, yes, and this electric that we produce, that supplies the power, also, is it really eco-friendly how we get that? True. But those things, as long as they evolve, and they will evolve because the technology never stops, we will see this is coming again. That's definitely. And this is how we are shaping ourselves as the company as well. That's why we are trying to focus into not only ICE, but definitely we are looking into not only automotive industry, because it is the supplies, the parts are much more limited, as you know.
Yeah, true.
So that's why we're looking into, and I keep speaking about environment. So environment is one of the areas we significantly focus into, right? And we have started, we introduced in 2020 a Global Venture Lab.
Okay.
And the Global Venture Lab is mainly has the hubs in Tokyo, Berlin, and Silicon Valley.
Nice.
And under that one, we are focusing into, even though we do mobility semiconductors, it's going to be energy and environment is going to be, again, that comes from Niterra. Okay. That's why we were talking about.
Yeah.
So this is where we're going to really focusing into. I just got some names for you, maybe could be interesting. For example, already we began commercializing on these brands, Sumikaze, right?
Okay.
And that's advanced air purification technology, where our ceramic technologies are also taking part. There is a brand, Aqua, which is sustainable. Now be ready for that word, shrimp farming systems.
Oh, wow.
That's our company focusing
Okay,
into this.
Okay.
One more thing, desiccant, if I'm spelling it correctly, it's low energy air conditioning solutions,
Okay.
right? So this is
We're going to
things
need lots of that.
we are already there, right? So
Okay.
obviously ICE conversion will happen, but we are really ready for what's happening, and what some of the things we do will take part in that EV world. Maybe not in the car, but maybe how electric is supplied.
Yeah.
So we will find the answers going forward. But the world is changing, and our target as Niterra is to change much faster with the right strategy, with the right people. And now it's more easy to attract actually the new generation who has a totally different mindset. We started seeing in the export of companies 25-year-old people. Because it's a different generation.
Yes.
This is the vision of the company also. It's actually one of the partners we work with as a company. I was surprised to see a couple of weeks ago in a meeting in Abu Dhabi, they were proudly showcasing this gentleman as a part of their board. And that's the vision going. We have to change in every aspect, and people come first, right? So for us, the Niterra name was attractive because it's more a futuristic name.
Yeah.
So you can attract talents, I think, better with this also, approach. And that's one of the reasons I would say it was well embraced again with the current and new employees we have.
Yeah. Of course, Niterra, NGK Spark Plugs. It's you are part of the OE of today. You are a big part of the aftermarket, but I think in general the automotive suppliers in general is under a challenge. It is a transition phase, as you and as many OE suppliers for the ICE engine. What do you think is the biggest challenge for a company in your shoes? And what is the adaptation that will drive the future?
I think already I mentioned that we are looking into a lot of expansion out of automotive as well.
Yeah.
But aftermarket will remain our main focus. We are proudly very close to the garages and retailers. I mean, one of the brands, if you go, I think you will hardly see that they were not visited in the last year. Somehow somebody touched them. And you have to change your approach to market. You have to be closer to the market, and they will tell you what they need.
True.
Something we will find out what the market will need as it's evolving, is being closer and closer to the market. And I could proudly say today we already have 2,500 garages and retailers in our network, where we have different brands, but one of the ones that we are really running now is called Trusted Program.
Okay.
And that is not just it's not a loyalty program, it's really technical training, giving them capabilities for warranty, giving a better service. So they will be the future mechanic garages, which is very important. We are partnering with some technical schools in Africa to train the students in where we are experts. And once they are out of the business, we would like to find jobs in aftermarket for them.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, we do a lot of things in the aftermarket. Your question was different, but I'm actually moving again to the aftermarket side. Because the company, maybe in OE, we will be doing less. But there is much more we can do with different approaches. And then those aftermarket partnership with the garages will be the solution for the future as the platform for repairing electrical cars, which needs a lot of education. Safety is a big concern. We have seen a lot of unfortunate mechanics, injured or even losing their lives when they were, trying to repair an electrical car. So they need expert partners, and this is where companies evolve. It's not only our company. We see the same trend with a lot of respected other aftermarket brands. And that's how we have to shape together. We cannot do it. So all the brands together, as I would call the prime class brands, right? We have to help aftermarket to evolve and technically advance and also create still business for our companies. And we will be equally happy to make money also from non-automotive business as well. But I will just say AI is definitely, if your company doesn't embrace AI already, you're too late. And I'm proudly happy to say definitely we are very strong in the AI area. I would say you really need to embrace and attract skilled labor. And needless to say, we are all technology companies when you look at the top OE companies, so we have to be even more focused into the technological and the advancement.
So, I think it's very true. The aftermarket is way bigger, and I think a lot of OE was more busy in the OE business, and I think now the aftermarket, it's a growing market compared to the OE in general, and I think we have a lot of market that is still dominated by an ICE engine, and there is a lot to do in the market, especially in market like I would call them the emerging markets, which could be Africa, Middle East, South America, Asia. I think there is a lot to be done there, and the EV is not a big part of that industry, so we are looking for another 30, 40 years of business. But if we look at, let's say, just for the imagination, 20 years from today, do you think we will still see some production of ICE engines?
Definitely, we will see.
Is it cars?
It will be. Well, I mean, definitely, it's going to be. It will be different. I mean, I see personally, my expectations to see, for example, two-wheelers quicker adopting. Okay, they don't need a big infrastructure. It's easier to charge. They're going to be more economical. So there, a transition will happen. In the cars, as I said, Asian markets will continue because the economy cannot change. I mean, 20 years ago and today, if you look at it, there is an improvement, but still there's a long way to go. So it's still the income that's going to decide that, and also how economical the EV cars are and how it's easy to really the infrastructure. I think the production will be obviously very less. If today we are talking, maybe it will go to globally 10 or 20%, but there would be some production. It's difficult for me to really assess because it keeps changing.
Sure.
But my personal feeling, I'm more positive that IC still will remain around in 20 years.
What is interesting if we look at until today, I mean, adaptation of two-wheelers, three-wheelers, even passenger cars on EV have been, let's say, easier. But if I compare it to heavy-duty, marine, and all of this, I think this is where the difficulty to adapt, and I think this is where, with any heavy machinery, I think we did not even see anything, and like trucks, it's a different challenge, and this is why I personally I think we still see ICE engine, at least in the heavy. Not necessarily maybe using hydrogen, maybe using a different type of fuel, but that ignition combustion engine, I think when it comes to marine, when it comes to that really heavy duty, I think yet batteries haven't shown any technology.
That's why I was touching on the hydrogen technology today. Looks more promising, and they are also more bulky systems, but also quite efficient once you can fit that size. That technology is in its evolution as well. We will see a lot of evolution in that area, but you would need to be able to store. And at least my experience in Europe with the hydrogen taxi was, the taxi was not so happy because he needed to charge, and there was 2 years ago, it was in Berlin. Only 3 locations they can
Refill, yeah.
So again, convenience will decide,
Yeah.
and what is the need, and that's why maybe some of the IC engines will stay longer, because that convenience can take quite a lot of time. The governments need to be convinced as well for supporting that.
True.
And let's also remember, a lot of governments are actually making a lot of good tax from the sales of the fuel.
Sure.
So where is this income going to come once this conversion is happening? That's another question mark. So is the electric going to be more expensive? Then what's going to happen in the electric we consume at homes? Or the electric is needed for the production plants? So this is, of course, you can make a separate price for the charging stations, but then I want to charge my car at home. Are you going to have dual price for that? So we will have to find a lot, but at least, again, because we are closer to Europe, after 2035, we see the decline of ICE, meaning in Europe, ICE will be not sold or small. It's just 10 years after. Of course, the car park will remain. If I look at, the numbers, we are, just the numbers I could just say, and this is, we are taking this from, some public data. Anyway, the IC will be half of what it is in 2035 if you compare with 2030. Okay, I'm trying to be very careful what I'm saying. Yeah. And of course, it will be 6 times more than what it is in 2030. I don't compare with 225 because it's still very small.
Very small, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
But it will grow significantly. But we also see the total car park declining. Again, because of habits of changing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more shared cars. And that's why we see a decline on the number of cars as well.
I think if we look at in general, one of the things we see is longer miles, more shared mobility, more this micro mobility in some cities now. If you travel in some city, you see all these scooters, shared scooters. Now, you like it or not, different cities have different problems with that. But you see now this kind of different types of mobility is evolving with technology. Now you have 5G, AI, so it's way easier. And also, I think what can happen. Maybe EV, today the challenges we have with EV, maybe we'll not have them in the future, or we'll have more of them. Like when we talk to some expert about battery technology, if you look at recycling today, an ICE engine, it's a block of metal, right? We melt it down, we make a new engine out of this. But a battery, it's a completely different technology. It's expensive to recycle that.
Absolutely.
It's environment heavy because of all of the heavy metals and so on. Is it really the future of mobility or not? There is a lot of a question. I don't think we can answer all the questions today.
That's true.
But there is a lot in the air. We're talking about production of electricity. A lot of cities in the world today, the production of electricity is based on fossil fuel. So it's not really the most. And then we talk about solar, wind, hydropower, and all of this. But not every country have the access to this, and also the technology. Solar panel, is it the most environment friendly to recycle? Not, So I think we are living, in my opinion, in the best era, seeing all this transition. Look how for 100 years almost car was driven, or the technology was, and now we're seeing a big shift. And the ignition of EV actually is opening the door of hydrogen, because hydrogen and EV is not a new technology. As you said, golf cart was using EV many years ago, right? But I think with that adaptation, we are opening a new era of accepting new ideas, embracing new technologies. All of these AI, 5G, 6G is making it connecting car much easier, much more convenient. So it's a lovely time we are living, and I think the automotive aftermarket would be a little bit distant for some time from the OE market, because we still have a very big car park with the standard IC engine compared
Absolutely.
to new cars. Today, 90% of cars are ICE engines, where very small portion, maybe even less. And how that adaptation will drive and what will happen in the coming years will be very interesting to see.
I hope we will live long enough, and hopefully you will live longer than me, because I'm more mature than you are in my age. But I think at least, we have the younger generations, and this change will happen. And absolutely, it is a necessity also. I mean, there are some electric cars, when I look, it's quite exciting. They started to look exciting. Before it's electric car, I wouldn't turn back and look. Nowadays, I find myself, what is this car? And I see, that's an electric car. The design is changing.
Sure.
The attractiveness is changing. So obviously, the demand will be different. And maybe we were talking, the younger generation is not maybe excited. Maybe this is a way they are looking into how to excite people. Sure. And let's talk about ecosystem. We like our phones to talk out to our laptops. We like them to talk to our,
computer,
let's say,
PC.
Even your refrigerator, your AC. It's an ecosystem you have. And interesting, now cars are becoming part of that ecosystem with electric cars. And some people really value that. They love that. For them, it's very important. And that could attract them as well. But when we look at our region, I mean, how many of them have the capability and affordability for that? That is, time will tell. Sure. But I'm not against the technology. I like the technology, but it has to evolve a lot, especially the battery part, because I'm personally not convinced on the safety side. We've been hearing about the solid-state technology in the battery. I think that could be a game changer, still yet to come. It has to be somehow, some development. But then the question becomes, I buy a car today. Just look at 3 years ago, you bought the car, and just in 3 years, your car becomes so let's say, losing the value.
Yes.
Because the same company for the same model introduced a new car now, which has a double range.
Yeah, it's true.
So your car is worthless now. Yeah, you live with your car. What are you going to do with this car? I don't know now, okay? And then that car with 600 will be in the same situation, because probably in 2 years, if not the next year, there will be another car saying it's going to be 1,000.
Yes.
So there is another kind of drawback of people. I'm sure there are a lot of people who want to try and move to electric cars. So I'm going to be very open here. But they are waiting. They want to see what it's going to happen, where the time comes, when is the right price to buy. And the people don't want to lose money. Today you buy an electric car, and honestly, even in more very established brands, you're losing a lot in the resale value.
After sales values have been different. Tufan, it was really fun to have you on the show. I enjoyed our discussion. Of course, we have a lot to talk about and to share, but this episode have to come to an end. Any final words?
Hassan, it was my pleasure. We've been planning this for a long time, and I'm really happy it happened finally. But I think this was the right time.
Thank you.
And yes, as Tufan, I'm really happy that you find it, the event fun. Okay,
it is fun.
I'm really looking forward, how we can maybe have another chat with another atmosphere, maybe a different topic than EVs,
For sure.
which, I'm going to actually remember this episode also and share definitely with friends and all the colleagues. So see you when this is online.
Thank you very much. For our audience, don't forget to watch our previous episode and look forward for the next one. And if you have any comments, email us at podcast@mcb.ae. Thank you.